The late afternoon sun filtered through the tall pines surrounding Horizon Ridge. K9 Rehabilitation Center casting golden beams across the training yard. Dogs barked in the distance, their voices echoing off the metal kennels. Inside the main arena, a team of handlers worked with their rescue dogs. Most were learning commands, practicing basic obedience, or navigating agility courses. At the far end, a large German shepherd named Ranger stood stiffly beside his handler, his ears tilted back in barely controlled tension. His muscles rippled beneath his black and tan coat, each movement radiating contained energy. Ranger wasn't just unpredictable, he was feared. In his first week at the center, he had snapped at two handlers, shattered a reinforced kennel door, and chewed through a steel-braided leash. Most dogs flinched under pressure. Ranger attacked. That's why he was kept separate from the others. Always on a double leash and always under the eye of the most experienced trainers. Then, without warning, Ranger froze. His ears flicked forward, nose lifted into the air. The handler tightened his grip on the leash, bracing for another outburst. But Ranger didn't growl. Instead, he stepped forward slowly, purposefully toward the gate. Standing there quietly observing was a girl in a wheelchair. She couldn't have been older than 12. Her hands rested in her lap, her gaze calm but distant. A small breeze tugged at the strands of her brown hair. The arena hushed, every handler paused. Someone shouted, "Get him back!" But no one moved fast enough as Ranger trotted straight toward the girl. No barking, no tension, just quiet determination. Then gently he lowered his head and rested it on her knee. Everyone stared, Miss Tessa. Harmon, the sense director, stepped closer, eyes wide. The girl didn't flinch. She simply whispered, "Hi." Her name was Lily Moore. At just 12 years old, she had once captivated crowds with the grace of a dancer, twice her age. Lily wasn't just good, she was gifted. From regional showcases to national competitions, she swept first-place medals like falling petals. Ballet lyrical contemporary, her body moved like it was born for music. Audiences remembered the girl with the fierce eyes and fluid lines, the way her movements told stories before she even spoke a word. But that life ended 1 year ago. During a routine rehearsal at her dance studio, Lily attempted a lift sequence. She'd practiced hundreds of times. One misstep, one slip on a damp floor. She fell from a height and landed wrong. The spinal cord damage was immediate and irreversible. Doctors said she was lucky to survive. Lily didn't feel lucky. Since the accident, she hadn't danced, hadn't smiled. She barely spoke. Her friends' messages went unanswered. Therapy sessions were silent, tense, hollow. The girl who once dazzled on stage now avoided mirrors as if seeing her reflection might confirm what she'd lost. Her parents tried everything. Claire and Daniel Moore searched the country for answers. They traveled to clinics called specialists, bought books with titles like Healing the Inner Child and When the Body Says No. They even flew Lily to a private center in Arizona that promised emotional breakthroughs through art and movement therapy. But nothing worked. Lily refused to engage. No drawings, no journaling, no talking. Her grief wasn't loud, it was silent, deep and unmoving. Losing dance hadn't just taken away her passion, it had stolen her identity. Without movement, Lily felt erased. It was her therapist who finally suggested the Horizon Ridge K9 Rehabilitation Center, not as a cure, just a change of scenery, a place where animals and people both came to heal. Lily hadn't wanted to go, but her parents had insisted gently, persistently, until Lily agreed to one visit. "You don't even have to talk," her mother had said, "just be there." And now here she was, still silent. And for reasons no one yet understood, the most unpredictable dog in the program had just chosen. Her ranger's file was thick with warnings. A 5-year-old German shepherd, he had been rescued 6 months earlier from an illegal training operation on the outskirts of the state. The facility had specialized in turning strong, intelligent dogs into tools. Obedient, aggressive, and disposable. Ranger was one of the oldest there and one of the most resistant. When animal control raided the property, they found him caged, half-starved, with scars along his legs and flanks. Evidence of both physical abuse and overworked conditioning. He didn't bark or growl when they opened the gate. He didn't flinch, he just stared. At Horizon Ridge, his first few weeks had been chaos. He bit one handler. The bite hadn't come out of nowhere. One of the handlers, new to the center, had approached Ranger too quickly, snapping his fingers and issuing sharp commands in a low bark-like tone. He had meant to assert control, but he had no idea that his actions mirrored the abusive techniques used in Rare's past. To Ranger, it wasn't training, it was memory. The flash of fear, the flicker of panic, the scent of sweat, it all came back at once. A